Hello. I'm assuming you are about to have an event of some sort and you want to find a way to collect a bunch of pictures from everyone. So I'm here to review this blog, How to Collect Photos from Your Guests. And I have three simple solutions depending on what your needs are. So I'm just going to review them fairly quickly. The first is really probably the easiest as far as setup, but not the easiest as far as use. And that is that you get people to text or email submissions. This is as easy as using your existing phone number, or you can go ahead and create a Gmail or a Yahoo account just for the event and use it just for that case. Very easy, fairly low cost or no cost, depending on how many pieces of content you think you're going to get. You're probably not going to run into limits if you just open a brand new email for it. So it works for smaller events. It's an easy way to get people to send your photos. I'll link this blog maybe below, but this really highlights, like, great for really easy setup, easy to provide the guests. Hey, just email me or text me. You can make, email invitations, things like that. So you can send out the details to folks after, or make it a really easy email address so that they can remember it when they go home. So the pros, obviously very easy, no real technology or additional fees, and easy for getting content in. The cons, I would say, is that the photos are going to arrive in piecemeal. People may run into limits sending, so they might have to send, two at a time, depending on how high quality their phone cameras are set at. The guests can't see each other's pictures. So, it's unfortunate. And maybe that's what you want, though. And you may not know who sent the pictures, especially text. You're getting all these numbers and replying, who's this, downloading them. You have no privacy controls or album controls or to sign, and you also have no disclaimer. So if you plan on reusing the content again, just be very sure that you know your audience. It's small, maybe it's family, it's friends, and you feel safe that if you were making, let's say, a book or a social media post, that you have the rights to use those images. The other con, I guess, for this is that there isn't any built-in features. You're receiving pictures, period. So if you wanted to do a slideshow or share on social, you're downloading, designing, and then finding a way to do that. So the next solution is create a shared cloud album. And you can do that in Google Drive, Dropbox, Google Photos, OneDrive. I mean, it's quite easy. Here, I've gone to Google Photos. I've created a family function. I can go ahead and put the link on for sharing so that people can view it. Oops. I can also use this function up top, or this button as the share button. And with that, I can get the link. And doing so, I can copy that link and I can go ahead into QR code generator of any kind. I just Googled it, put the link in, and then it generates me a QR code. It's not designed. You're going to pay if you want a more designed QR code. And the other thing I would say about this is some of these free QR code generators time out. So you want to make sure it's not one of those, or you're going to want to pay because you want to make sure the QR code lasts. And the link doesn't, break after a little bit of time, but not too difficult to go ahead and take that link and create a QR code. And so the benefits of that are pretty, again, not too bad setup, pretty low cost or even free, depending on how few pictures you're planning on getting in. Accessible for most devices and good for small mid-sized groups. So guests can add the photos anywhere, anytime. The cons are that some folders, and it seems like even if you set the settings right, people may bump into permissions issues. You may hit a limit wall, so you might want to make sure you have good amount of storage so that you don't have guests that are not able to share their pictures with you. The guests might not be able to see other guests' photos, and files may become pretty disorganized. The other thing, of course, with this is there's no built-in features like the dedicated event platforms. So, streaming a photo wall or a slideshow, these are things you're going to have to download and create yourself if you want to use that content for anything. And then our third option, and this is my favorite, is to use a dedicated event photo sharing platform. There's a ton of them. They have lots of different features. My favorite is Memory Keeper. It has a little bit more privacy. or choices around privacy. It doesn't have to be private. It's really easy to use, and you have unlimited guests, unlimited content, like a terabyte of storage, which is crazy, and lots of perks, which not all of them have. The other thing I really like about Memory Keeper is other platforms will rush to get you to download the content and get it off there. And Memory Keeper's fine. If you're using it to keep the content there, share the content through Memory Keeper. It has a digital asset library that links to Adobe and Canva. So there's lots of extra little perks. The benefit of using a dedicated event sharing platform is really that all the perks are there. The slideshow, the make it easy for the guests. The QR codes are a little bit nicer looking and they're not going to expire. There's some built-in privacy and moderation controls. So, and lots of fun stuff. I'll show you what I do with Memory Keeper. So a live photo wall, slideshows built in. And also, like with Memory Keeper, I appreciate that I can create one story and you know, build on it or build more stories in it. So I'm going to show you inside Memory Keeper. So the platform itself has unlimited stories, so you can create as many story albums as you want. Has a full content library, which is linked to Canva and Adobe. It also shows you have the disclaimer rights to reuse. Lots of really nice things in here. If I go into an album, and creating an album is very simple. You're naming it, you're putting some basic details, and you're hitting create. But beyond hitting create, you also have quite a few privacy settings. So you can decide if you want the guests to be able to like and comment on each other's or just contribute. You can decide whether you want to moderate it so it's not published until you look at it and say it's good. You have a disclaimer. So if you do want to reuse it, you just don't have to worry that you have the rights to reuse it. And you can age gate it too. It's an older event or an event with kids and you want to make sure the adults that are sharing the pictures are old enough to make that decision. You can decide whether you want people to download content. So lots of nice little perks in here that I appreciate in each story. The other thing with stories that I think is cool is you can add friends to be co-authors. They don't have to have a paid account. You can add social media content. So you can add a hashtag and then anything that happens on Instagram will also get pulled in here. And you can make it discoverable. So if you do want it out there and for the world to be able to find, you can do that. You can ask for donations, or if it's a wedding, for example, you can do gifting. So lots of really great things in each story, and each story is unique. So you can do those different in each story. There's also some good design things. So, the picture, a background, yeah, lots of fun things in there that you can do. And this is what I love, as soon as I create a story, I have a QR code and I can design that. I can take that out and put something else. I was just doing a grad celebration. I can copy the link to share to people or share on social, and it shares on social with a nice tag with your cover photo in that. So it's integrated really nicely. Or if you happen to have a website, you can share it there. The other thing I absolutely love about this is if I'm at an event and I want to either plug my laptop into a big screen or there's software where I can put a link in for a big screen, all I have to do is click slideshow. As soon as I click slideshow, there's a slideshow created, and the slideshow is a live photo wall. So if you don't want the QR code on there, if you're just showing pictures and you don't want people to be able to scan and add, you just can take it on or off. You can decide if it loops, if you want people's comments or titles on here as well. You can design the colors. So all sorts of really great things you can do within a story to get people promoted to share more pictures. And I will say for events, this is especially great. People see other people's pictures on a big screen and they're adding their own pictures. So it's a great way to promote people and get them excited about sharing pictures with you. And then we always recommend after, and I always do, I take this link and I send it out to the people who attended after and say, if there's any pictures that you didn't add at the time. The other thing you can do is you can make keepsakes. So people take that QR code home and they maybe see the album of the trip or the wedding or the event in perpetuity. So it's a really nice thing. And the other thing I was mentioning with this solution is I don't want my stories, but the content library here, everything that happens in all my albums goes in here. It's like my shoebox of everything. And so I love that for a couple of reasons. I can go ahead and make files and folders. I can back up my social, do stuff like that in here. But the other thing that I love about this is that I can go ahead and go into Canva or Adobe and go on the side here down to Memory Keeper If you don't have it, you have to go to the apps and just find Memory Keeper the first time. But then all the same pictures that I have in my content library here. So really easy for creating content. And the other thing that you can do, in Memory Keeper is you can, got a slideshow here, I got all sorts of stuff on the screen, but you can go ahead and from here or from a story, you can also share direct to social media. So lots of really great options in here. It's a good solution. And I think depending on what you need, all three of these solutions are good. Get people to email or text you, set up a shared album and just ask them to send the pictures. Or if you want them to get to be a part of the story and see it, and, maybe you put it on screens, or you want them to be able to go home and actually look at the pictures, comment on each other's, and to them to have a little bit smoother or more branded experience. Any of the photo, custom photo solutions are really great. I'm biased, but there's lots of good solutions out there, and I like Memory Keeper just because it's a little bit easier to use. I'm not getting pressure to get off that app right away like I am with some of the other ones that say 3 months, download everything, or it's gone. So I really like that, and I like that I know my guests aren't going to run into any barriers. So I hope that is helpful, and I hope whatever the event is you're planning to get a bunch of pictures from, that you enjoy it.